the breaking point. The Galactic Assembly had ruled the known universe for 10,000 years. From their crystalline towers on Zentara Prime, the elder races looked down upon the younger species with barely concealed contempt. Among all the races they despised, none drew more mockery than the humans of Earth. Ambassador Chen stood before the assembly for the 100th time, her weathered face calm despite the jeers echoing through the vast chamber. The Zephyrians, with their translucent wings and superiority complex, chittered among themselves. The stone-like Goliaths rumbled with what passed for laughter among their kind. Even the usually neutral Etherians, beings of pure energy, flickered with amusement. "The human representative wishes to speak about trade routes again," announced Overlord Krex, his forearms gesturing dismissively. The Dominari leader's voice dripped with condescension. "Perhaps they've finally learned to count past their 10 fingers." The chamber erupted in laughter. Chen remained still, her dark eyes revealing nothing. She had endured worse. Humanity had endured worse. For 3 centuries since first contact, Earth had been treated as the galaxy's joke. Their ships were called primitive. Their colonies were taxed into poverty. Their children were denied entry to the great academies. But still, humanity endured. They built. They learned. They waited. "Respected Overlord," Chen began, her voice steady, "we only ask for fair representation in the Outer Rim territories. Our colonies, your colonies exist at our pleasure," interrupted Krex. "Be grateful we allow you even that." Chen nodded slowly. "As you say, Overlord." She turned to leave, but Krex's voice stopped her. "Actually, human, there is one matter. Haven Station in the Kepler system. The Assembly has decided it will be transferred to Dominari control. Your colonists have 30 cycles to evacuate." Chen froze. Haven Station housed 15 million humans. It was their first successful deep space colony. A symbol of everything humanity had achieved despite the obstacles. "Overlord, that station has been human territory for 50 years. Our families, our squatters on territory too valuable for your kind," Krex finished. "The decision is final." Chen left the chamber in silence. But as she walked through the grand corridors of the assembly, she activated a small device in her pocket. A single message transmitted to Earth. "They've crossed the line. Haven Station. Activate Protocol 7. On Earth, in bunkers buried beneath mountains older than most civilizations, screens flickered to life. Admiral Marcus Webb read the message twice. His weathered hands, scarred from the last wars Earth had fought among themselves, trembled slightly. Not from fear, but from anticipation. He had waited 40 years for this moment. "Protocol 7, he said to the darkness. Around him, lights began to activate. All restrictions lifted. All projects authorized. Humanity will no longer hold back. The Dominari fleet arrived at Haven Station exactly 30 cycles later. Commander Vrex, son of the Overlord, led 50 warships toward the human colony. He expected to find evacuation ships fleeing in panic. Instead, he found silence. The station hung in space, its lights still burning, its docking bays sealed. "Pathetic humans," Vrex laughed. "They couldn't even manage to run properly. All ships prepare for boarding. Take whatever you want. Leave nothing standing." The first Dominari assault craft approached the station. Then, without warning, Haven Station exploded. Not from without, but from within. The colonists had not evacuated. They had chosen to die rather than surrender their home. 15 million human souls vanished in an instant, taking 30 Dominari vessels with them. The galaxy watched in shock. The humans had destroyed their own station rather than let it be taken. This was not the act of a weak species. This was the act of something far more dangerous. Rex's remaining fleet bombarded the debris field in rage. "Insane primitives," he screamed. "Burn every human world. Leave none alive." But as his fleet turned toward the next human colony, something appeared on their sensors. Ships. Hundreds of them. They emerged from dark space where nothing should exist. From hidden shipyards and asteroid fields, from beneath the ice of frozen moons. These were not the small, patched-together vessels the galaxy knew. These were warships, sleek and dark, built in secret over centuries. Admiral Webb stood on the bridge of the TNS Retribution, humanity's first true dreadnought. Around him, 300 vessels of the Shadow Fleet took position. These ships had been built in absolute secrecy, using technology reverse-engineered from every species that had ever underestimated humanity, but improved, enhanced, perfected with human ingenuity. All ships, Webb commanded, his voice broadcast across the fleet. For 300 years we've held back. We've taken their insults. We've buried our children who died from their neglect. We've smiled while they laughed. No more. He paused, looking at the tactical display showing Vrex's fleet. They wanted to see humanity without restraint. Let's show them. All weapons free, no survivors. The human fleet attacked with a fury that shocked even veteran warriors. Their weapons didn't just destroy ships, they unmade them. Gravitational weapons that compressed Dominari cruisers into singularities, nanite swarms that devoured armor and flesh alike, quantum torpedoes that phased through shields as if they didn't exist. Vrex's fleet tried to respond, but their weapons, designed to fight conventional battles, were useless against human innovation. The humans didn't fight like any species the galaxy had known. They fought like something that had evolved on a death world, survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. They fought like predators who had learned to wear the mask of prey. Within an hour, Vrex's fleet was gone. Not defeated, gone, erased from existence so thoroughly that only scattered atoms remained. The Shadow Fleet didn't stop. They jumped to the next system, then the next, striking Dominari installations across the sector. On Zentara Prime, the Galactic Assembly watched the feeds in horror. The humans weren't conquering. They weren't occupying. They were erasing every trace of Dominari presence from the disputed territories. "What have we done?" whispered an Etherian delegate. Ambassador Chen appeared on their main screen. But this was not the patient diplomat they had mocked. Her eyes burned with cold fire. Behind her stood Admiral Webb and a dozen other human military leaders. "For 3 centuries, Chen said, we tried to join you peacefully. We accepted your insults. We paid your unfair taxes. We watched our children suffer under your rule. We held back what we truly were because we hoped for peace." She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. "You destroyed that hope when you took Haven Station. 15 million humans died rather than live under your boot. Their sacrifice broke the last chain holding us back. This is war," shouted Overlord Krex. "The entire galaxy will crush you." Chen smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. "You're welcome to try. But know this, we are not the weak species you thought we were. We are the children of a world that tried to kill us every day. We survived. We adapted. We evolved. And we learned to hide what we truly are." She leaned forward. "You haven't seen human warriors. You've seen human diplomats. You haven't seen human weapons. You've seen what we were willing to show. You haven't seen humanity unleashed. You've seen humanity in chains." The transmission cut to footage of the Shadow Fleet. Hundreds of ships, each one a masterpiece of human engineering. But more disturbing were the images that followed. Hidden cities on asteroids, massive shipyards in the void between stars, weapons laboratories on rogue planets. An entire military infrastructure built in absolute secrecy. "How?" Krex demanded. "How did we not know?" Chen reappeared. "Because you never looked. You were too busy laughing at the primitive humans to notice we were learning. Every insult taught us patience. Every restriction taught us innovation. Every locked door taught us to build our own." She stood and the camera pulled back to reveal she was on the bridge of a massive warship. "The Galactic Assembly has a choice. Accept humanity as equals, with full rights and representation, or face the species you created through your oppression. You have 1 cycle to decide." The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, governments scrambled. Military leaders reviewed the footage of the Shadow Fleet's capabilities. Scientists tried to understand how humans had developed such technology in secret. Philosophers wondered what else humanity might be hiding. But in the depths of space, the Shadow Fleet continued to move. They didn't attack. They didn't need to. Their mere existence was message enough. Humanity had stopped holding back, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Reckoning 1 cycle passed in the blink of an eye. The Galactic Assembly's response came not in words but in weapons. A combined fleet of 7 elder races, over 3,000 ships strong, jumped into the Sol system. They expected to find Earth defenseless, its Shadow Fleet scattered across the galaxy. Instead, they found something that would haunt alien nightmares for generations. Earth was gone. Not destroyed, but hidden beneath a shield of impossible darkness. Where the blue marble should have floated, there was only void. The combined fleet's sensors could detect nothing. It was as if humanity's homeworld had been erased from existence. "Impossible," breathed Commander Thyvan of the Etherian contingent. No shield technology could— Her words were cut short as space itself seemed to ripple. The Shadow Fleet materialized around the Allied Armada, but they were not alone. With them came ships of designs that defied understanding, vessels that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, craft that moved without engines, thought without computers, and fought without weapons as the galaxy understood them. Admiral Webb's voice echoed across all channels. "You came to destroy our world." But Earth learned long ago that the best defense is not to be where your enemy expects. What you see is the culmination of Project Shadowcaster. Earth exists now between heartbeats, between thoughts, between reality and void. The battle that followed would be remembered as the Battle of Three Suns. Though there was only one star in the Sol system, the other two suns were human weapons. Miniature stars created and controlled with technology that shouldn't exist. The human fleet didn't just fight. They rewrote the laws of physics in their favor. Zephyrian wings, evolved for flight in their world's thick atmosphere, crumbled in gravity fields that humans generated at will. Goliath armor, forged in the hearts of dying stars, melted under weapons that attacked at the quantum level. Etherian energy forms, thought to be indestructible, were trapped in containment fields that humans had developed by studying their diplomatic visits. But the true horror came when the humans deployed their most terrible weapon, the memory engine. It didn't destroy ships. It showed every alien in the fleet what humanity had endured. 3 centuries of pain, condensed into a single moment of understanding. Children dying from curable diseases because aliens had banned humans from advanced medical academies. Colonies starving because of unfair trade restrictions. Families separated because humans weren't allowed to travel freely between systems. Every laugh, every insult, every moment of humiliation that humanity had endured played through alien minds. And with it came the understanding of what they had awakened. Humans hadn't just been holding back their weapons. They had been holding back their rage. The Dominari fought longest, their pride refusing to let them retreat. Overlord Krex himself led a desperate assault on the TNS Retribution. His personal guard, warriors who had never known defeat, transported aboard the human flagship. They expected to find soft humans cowering behind their technology. Instead, they found Captain Sarah Mitchell and her Marines waiting. The humans didn't use energy weapons or plasma rifles. They used kinetic weapons, primitive by galactic standards but devastating in close quarters. And they fought with something the Dominari had never encountered: absolute conviction. "You think we're weak because we're small," Mitchell said, her armor splattered with purple Dominari blood. She moved through the boarding party like death itself, efficient and unstoppable. "But we evolved on a world where everything tried to kill us. We didn't become apex predators by being strong. We did it by being smart, stubborn, and absolutely unwilling to give up." Krex himself faced Admiral Webb on the bridge. The Overlord towered over the human, his forearms each capable of crushing stone. But Webb didn't flinch. He had fought in the water wars on Earth, survived the colonial uprising on Mars, and led humanity through its darkest hours. One alien, no matter how large, did not frighten him. "You could have been our allies," Webb said quietly. "We offered friendship. We offered trade. We offered our creativity, our determination, our unique perspective. You chose to make us your enemies instead." Krex lunged, but Webb was already moving, not with superhuman speed, but with the economy of motion that came from a lifetime of combat. A single shot from an ancient projectile weapon, a family heirloom from Earth's Second World War, took the Overlord in the chest. As Krex fell, Webb caught him almost gently. "We didn't want this," Webb whispered. "Remember that. We never wanted this." The battle ended not with humanity's victory but with their mercy. When the Allied fleet was reduced to less than 300 ships, when their surrender signals filled every channel, the humans stopped. The miniature suns winked out. The impossible weapons powered down. The Shadow Fleet held position but fired no more. Ambassador Chen appeared on every screen in the galaxy simultaneously, using quantum communication technology that humanity had developed but never revealed. "This is what we are capable of," she said simply. "This is what we held back, not because we couldn't fight, but because we didn't want to. We are offering one final chance. Accept us as equals, or we will treat you as you treated us." She paused, and for a moment the steel in her eyes softened. "But know this. We would rather build than destroy. We would rather create than eliminate. The same minds that designed these weapons have cured diseases, composed symphonies, and written poetry that would make even Etherians weep. The same hands that pulled triggers today would rather shake yours in friendship tomorrow. The screen showed Earth reappearing, the Shadowcaster field dropping. The blue marble hung in space, fragile and beautiful, surrounded by the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. We are humanity. We are capable of terrible things when pushed, but we would rather show you wonderful things when welcomed. The choice, as always, is yours. In the ruins of the Galactic Assembly, the remaining delegates voted unanimously. Humanity would have their seat. Not just one seat, but a permanent position on the Security Council. Trade restrictions were lifted. Academic barriers were removed. For the first time in 3 centuries, humans were truly free. But the galaxy never forgot. In alien schools, children learned a new lesson. Not about the weak humans from the death world, but about the importance of respect. In military academies, strategists studied the Battle of 3 Suns, trying to understand how humanity had hidden such power. In diplomatic circles, a new phrase became common: remember the humans. Admiral Webb retired after the battle, returning to Earth to tend his garden. But he kept his communicator close, just in case. Ambassador Chen continued her work, but now aliens listened when she spoke. The Shadow Fleet returned to their hidden bases, but they remained ready. Humanity had shown its true face, and the galaxy had learned to respect it. Years later, when young species joined the galactic community, they would ask about the humans. Why did such a powerful race show such restraint? Why did they help weaker species when they could dominate them? The answer was always the same, given by aliens who remembered that terrible day. Because humans know what it's like to be underestimated. They know the pain of being dismissed. And they decided that no other species should suffer as they did. They held back their power not from weakness but from wisdom, and pray to whatever you believe in that they never stop holding back again. The truth was simpler, written in a plaque at the entrance to Earth's diplomatic corps. We are strongest when we lift others up. We are wisest when we choose peace over war. But we are most dangerous when you forget we have a choice. The galaxy never forgot again, and humanity, finally respected, finally equal, began to show the universe what they could achieve when they no longer had to hide. They terraformed dead worlds, bringing life to barren rock. They developed medical technology that could cure diseases that had plagued species for millennia. They created art that touched souls across every biological divide. But the Shadow Fleet remained, silent guardians in the dark between stars. A reminder that humanity's greatest strength was not their weapons or their technology. It was their choice to be better than those who had oppressed them. It was their decision to hold back, even when they no longer had to. Every alien remembered the moment humans stopped holding back. But more importantly, they remembered the moment humans chose to hold back again. And in that choice, the galaxy found hope for a better future. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.